Karibu sana katika kikao cha Sema na JG. Tuko ndani ya Gracia Gardens, Kilimani, katika barabara ya Dennis Pritt. Hii leo tumebarikiwa, Mungu amekuwa mwaminifu, tumetembelewa na CEO Machakos what? Hey, oh my God, Machawood, yes. Imagine nikianza na kusahau. Machawood Board. Karibu sana Victor.
Asante sana.
Jitambulishe kwa majina yako kamili, cause mimi nishasema wewe ni CEO wa Machawood Board. Watu wanakujua kama Victor, labda useme majina yako yote kamili.
Kwa majina kamili naitwa Mwalaha Mwenya Muniafu.
Ate?
Lakini watu wengi wanajua kama Victor. Mwalaha
Mwenya
Muniafu.
So si tunakujua Victor Muniafu.
Victor Muniafu.
Majina mengine mawili wewe umepeleka wapi?
Unajua sisi wote we had a very interesting father. Alikuwa dini ya Msambwa. Sasa he never believed in those baptism names. Alikuwa anatupea majina. When you get to 18, unajipea jina yako ya ubatizo. And then you realize that you have an ID already. And many people have known you by the Christian name as you grew up. So you cannot incorporate it in the ID because it's a whole process.
True.
So it just remains that way. But then you realize later on that when you do a lot of transactions, people even write you checks as Victor Muniafu.
True. Hata mimi nimekujua tu Victor Muniafu.
So you always have to go back and make the changes. And eventually you just decide, let me just let everybody know this is my official title, but then now in social circles, everybody knows me as Victor.
So it's Victor
Mwalaha Muniafu.
Wow. Which side of Kakamega?
I come from Bungoma County.
Oh, Bungoma.
Na Mukenge village.
Mbona ninakuona wewe ni kama wa Kakamega bwana?
Mimi ni Bukusu kamili.
Bukusu ni watu wazuri. Nimeishi nao Kitale.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, Victor, asante kwa kututembelea.
Asante.
Many people don't even know that you are a single father. And maybe we could start from there. How is it being a single father?
It is, being a single father is very challenging. And for me, the journey started in 2005 when the mother of my son passed on.
Okay.
I've got 2 children. A daughter, Tamara, and my son, Carl.
Okay.
The mother of my daughter is still alive. That is a relationship that did not work. She was my first girlfriend. Okay. Then the mother of my son is there. Is the one who died. And that was in 2005. The boy had just turned 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is when I was thrown into that deep end. And it's been another 15 years of serious struggling and learning.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see, all I say is that every time you get an experience, it's not bad. You did not waste the years.
True.
You learned. Yeah, so you become wiser and you know how to deal with things going into the future.
Okay. Yeah. So Mama Carla aligonjeka, what happened?
Yeah, aligonjeka. Actually, she was expectant, so those were complications in pregnancy. And she passed on when she was about 3.5 months pregnant. Yeah, I was actually, in the film industry, so I was actually in Tanzania doing some work. And then I was called and she was unwell. I said they can take her to hospital. Then about 2 days later, I got a call. I was told she was normal.
Okay.
So I came and finished all that and now began my journey with my son.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you bring in someone ama uliendelea na msichana wa kazi ama you brought in a relative to stay with you?
It was very tricky. At first I started off with the house girl that we had. But then she ended up being impregnated by the boys around. Okay. Yeah. So when I called the auntie, she came and identified the boy and they went now to deal with the issue. Then from there, it became very difficult to find people who even trust a man with their daughter to be the house girl. So I had to struggle on my own. I sent him to some relatives and friends. But then I realized people have got different values and there's less freedoms in the homes.
Yes.
Where now, unajua, kuna kwa tofauti kubwa sana kama uko kwenyu na uko kwa wengine.
True.
Unaweza ona fruits pale lakini lazima uombe.
Lakini kwenyu unachukua tu.
Kwenyu unachukua tu.
Yes.
Unaweza ona soda pale kwa fridge lakini lazima uulize can I pick the soda?
Yes.
Lakini kwenyu unaingia tu unachukua fridge, unatoa unakunywa. So a few of those experiences and I felt I needed to get him a place he can call his own and where he can have his freedom.
Yes.
And because I couldn't get a house girl, most of the time I had to go to work with him.
Wow.
And due to that, he missed a number of school sessions because that was the time at my peak. I was doing road shows, I was shooting movies and TV commercials and documentaries. So because I don't have somebody to take care of him, at times I would leave him sleeping and tell the neighbors to check out on him and give him breakfast and then stay with him until evening, make sure he's eaten before I come back.
Maisha magumu.
Yes, so sometimes the neighbors would tell me they are not available, so it forces me to go with him to work. Yeah, so most of the time he would spend time with the drivers, sleeping in the vans. Juu kazini huwezi anza kuonyeshana kwamba uko na mtoto. So nilingangana tu na yeye hivyo.
Wow. At what point did he realize mama aliaga?
Right from the beginning.
Oh, he was 6 years.
He was 6 years and I don't know, maybe God utupangia maneno because somehow in the year 2001, whatever made me decide to take up a course in counseling, maybe he was preparing me for something in future because I went and learned skills at Amani Counseling Center and immediately all that happened, I was able to employ those skills. And first of all was disclosure. Yeah. So when I came back from Tanzania, I went to the mortuary straight and then I went back home. There were people at home singing and all that. And they sang overnight. But I slept with the boy in the same bed and he asked me, why are there many people in our house?
Compound, yeah.
And I told them, your mother died. But see, it never clicked. Until now, the next day, I went to see the mother in the mortuary. So I went and insisted that he goes in. Everybody was against that. But because of my little experience and knowledge, I decided to let him just now begin to see it from here. Yes. So he went in, he saw the mother, wameruta kwa ile nini, alafu akarudishwa after kumuona, and the boy did not talk at all. And I remember when we went to sleep that night, is when he asked me, Daddy, kwani mom hasikii baridi kwa hiyo friji? Nikamwambia hapana, hasikii baridi juu amekufa. Okay. Mtu akikufa anafanyanga nini? So I had to take him through that. I explained to him and he didn't seem very satisfied. He slept. Then you see now we just went on with the mazishi, mipango until now we went to Shags tukamzika. Baada ya mazishi ndio sasa tukarudi nyumbani. Now it's just me and him. Akaniuliza, Dad, kwani mom hawezi fungua tu hiyo, atoe hiyo mchanga alafu atoke kwa hiyo shimo? So nikamwambia hawezi toka juu ameenda kabisa. Yeah. But see what made me now learn, know that he's beginning to understand is when he told me, but si watu hata wanakufanga kwa movie alafu wanarudi kwa movie ingine. So nikamwambia hiyo ni movie, but in this one hatawahi kurudi kabisa. Sasa mimi na wewe tutaanza kuishi tu pamoja na tutaishi bila yeye. And that's now when I started the journey with him and explaining to him. I had to reassure him that I'm going to protect him. Okay. Yes.
So umeanza kuishi na mtoto wako, umejaribu house girls, it's not working, umempeleka kwa neighbors, umejaribu relatives, haingiani. Did you ever think of dating?
At that particular time, you know, marriage has got its own challenges.
True.
And I had already learned many lessons. And I think I've just told you that I have got a son and a daughter from two different women. Yes. So that blended arrangement was still not very comfortable. And
ungerudi tu kwa wa kwanza. Umwambie ni aje sasa, here I am. Ama
alikuwa ameolewa. Ashaolewa.
Ameenda,
amepata mwingine na move on. Sasa ikabidi tu sasa nijikalishe, you know, because I'd also promised myself that moving on you can be in different ways. You can choose to move on by raising your child. And just live your life. But then I actually lived with him for about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, without dating, with nothing. And when he got to about 10 years, I noticed he was already growing. We had discussed a lot about growing into adulthood and all that. We had gone out on different film shoots, and he had learned a lot about the camera work, and so he was maturing. Then I noticed he had a certain attitude towards women. And that is when I realized I must be a mentor, and I mentor him in the right way. Because I noticed he would make some funny remarks about women. They don't know how to keep time, they are lazy, they are what, they are nagging.
Really?
Yes. Because you see now, I had presented to him that these are people that Daddy cannot even live with. So it was then that I made a conscious decision that I must find somebody.
Okay.
And I knew the challenges because, you know, I always try to think through things.
Yes.
And that is what actually my training in film has taught me, to think through everything.
Okay.
So I thought about the pros and the cons, and I said, if I don't try, I will never know. And when you try and it doesn't work out, you never give up.
Okay.
And because I'm taking that course, I'll just have to sit with him and talk to him. And I sat and talked to him about it, that I'm going to start dating. But there would be challenges when I start dating. Inaweza work, inaweza kosa kuwork. Lakini ikosa kuwork, I just want you to know that I will always be with you.
That is here for you.
Yes. So never feel threatened by anything, and always let me know if there's a problem.
So did you get the girl?
Yes, I did. And the first one did not even last a month.
What do you mean, Victor? Ulimfanyia nini?
Unajua, sometimes
mwezi moja na ni ndoa?
Yes.
Ya mwezi moja?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do or what didn't you do?
Blended families are not a joke.
Why?
Because
this was not a young girl?
No, she's not a young girl. Actually, she's somebody who I'd actually grown up with, and she went through divorce, and now she was on her own. But
alikuwa na watoto wangapi?
Alikuwa na mtoto mmoja.
So chukua mtoto wako, nichukue wangu,
tulee,
tuishi pamoja.
Yes. But you see now the agreement was tusipate wetu, it's for posterity. Sasa mimi na wewe tukishamaliza kulea. And I made it very clear. You know me, I'm in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
My retirement life, I just wanted to be traveling and having fun.
Yes.
That's it. I don't want hii mambo mingi ati tunafikiria tutaachia watoto nani tukienda holiday.
Kurudi Pampers.
Hapana, hiyo sikutaka hiyo. Yeah, so that is when she came, you know, maybe she did not expect it to be that way, because it was also her first time. And when they started having the clashes,
with your son?
Yes, she could not cope, and she just opted to leave.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my first experience.
And you let her go?
You know, in life,
yeah,
the deal is simple. Joyce, nikikwambia tutapendana. But see, in reality, blended families, you can love, that is a constant.
Yes.
But then you cannot ignore the fact that the children are not comfortable.
True.
And if they're not comfortable, you will never pretend that you love each other so much that you care less about your children. Yeah, so when she told me she doesn't think it can work out, she decided to leave, and I said, fine, at least that was one experience.
Chomoka.
Yes, and I sat.
So did you get another one?
Yes, the first time, the first thing I did was to sit with my son and explain to him
that
this one did not work out. It was very short, and you know, even him, he had also had through some experiences, because the moment this one came in, the one thing that was cut out was 4 o'clock tea. So he was told after lunch, next is dinner, and it's used to 4 o'clock tea. So that one was out.
Explanation ni nini?
Si wanawake mnapanganga nyumba. Sasa
wacha nikusikie, let me choose to listen to you.
So nikasema tu ni sawa, let me just not interfere. Number 2, the friends were being chased away.
Carl's friends?
Yes. So when they come to pick him so that they can play, ana wanaambiwa ayuko available, nyie endeni, atakuja baadaye.
And she was a mother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, every time I confronted her, it would be like, you're not giving me a chance to run this home. So I said, okay, let me not interfere much and let you guys, until 3 weeks later, when I would get home from a film shoot, and I come home at 10 p.m., mi naletewa chai, naletewa nini, all the goodies. But then my son comes and says, Dad, I want tea. I ask him, what do you mean? Si chai mnakunywa? Hapana, nilisikia. Niliambiwa ati hakuna chai ya saa 10.
Ni unauliza mama yake?
Sinamuuliza.
What is this?
Anasema, I've got to create rules. Naambia chukua kikombe ukuje ukunywe chai at 10 p.m.
And you were providing?
Yes.
Hiyo chai unanunua maziwa unafanya nini?
Yes. Okay. So nika kurudi kwa bedroom sasa ninaanza kuambiwa rules zinaintroduciwa na mimi nazibreak.
Okay.
So nikamwambia, you can never create rules around food and never do that in my house. I work so hard so that watoto. Sasa naona
mtoto ya Muluya unamwambia
ilikuwa ngumu sana.
Hey.
So that was the first experience. Na akasema then if she's not going to have a chance to control the house the way he wants, then he would rather go. I said, sawa.
Wow. We take a short break. Tukirejea tutataka kujua zaidi what happened. Kuna wengine walikuja wakaenda, kuna yule ambaye amekaa, ama Victor bado is single and searching. This is Sema na JG. Karibu tena katika kikao cha Sema na JG. Tunazungumza na Victor Muniafu, CEO Machawood Board, na ambaye anatuelezea mengi zaidi kuhusiana na maisha yake as a single father. So, Victor, tumeingia kwa uhusiano mwingine.
Yes.
Wa kwanza imeisha hivyo. Rules ambazo hazingewezekana. You've prepared your son again that we are still going to try again. We are not giving up in this business. So the second one comes.
Yeah, the second one comes, and this was via hookup from a friend. You know, you say, my friend says he knows this lady for 8 years. So I said, okay, that's at least a good point to start from. And the first thing was to move us from that home to a different place where she felt she was more comfortable. And when we went to that place, the same rules began to apply.
Really?
Yeah, but this one lasted about 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, because before the fights began. It was by 6 months now, the mvurugano ikaanza. Around the rules ya chakula, kwenda nje, marafiki, nini. So I just told her, look, if you start creating rules around food, for me it pains me. Yeah. I struggle so hard to feed this family and to take care of the bills here. Yes. So just make sure that they're taken care of. Okay. But then, unfortunately, it got to a point, actually I was out on a film shoot again, and then she calls me in the morning. Huyu kijana, karibu anivunje mkono. Namuuliza.
You had a physical fight?
Yes.
Okay.
And the only advantage is that earlier on, I always took my son for self-defense classes. So when it came to self-defense, somehow he would learn to defend himself.
So the mother alikuwa anamchapa?
Yes.
Naye akajidefend?
Yes.
He hit back? He
hit back, and I knew hapa haitawezekana. And you see how difficult it can be. Na unajua, why was he hit? Ati anataka kuchukua samaki kwa fridge. Lunchtime.
Amekatazwa?
Amekatazwa, so akanipigia. Dad, mimi nasikia njaa. Namwambia, mbona usichukue chakula kwa fridge? Akasema, nimeambiwa ati hii iko imepangwa ni ya sapa. Nikamwambia, wewe chukua ukule. So in the evening, that was the trouble when he came from work. Yeah, so nikamwambia, if you cannot live with my son and you cannot give him the freedom, then I don't think it's going to last.
Yeye alikuwa amekuja na mtoto wake?
Alikuja na mtoto wake.
How old was the baby?
I was even paying for college.
Oh, alikuwa mkubwa.
He was 19.
Okay.
Yeah, so vile niliona hiyo haiku work out, nikaumwa sana that night because I told her, look, if you cannot put up with my son and give him the freedom that he needs, I would allow you to go. He told me siwezi toka hapa. Mimi ndio nilitafuta hii nyumba. Kwa hivyo wewe ndio utaenda. Interestingly, si nimeambiwa niende. Na nyumba ni mimi nalipa. Nilichukua kijana asubuhi 6:30, nikampeleka town, nikamweka kwa matatu ya kwenda Kangundo to the maternal grandparents. Akaenda, nikapiga, nika-coordinate mpaka akafika. I went on a film shoot in Tanzania for 21 days. And when I came back, I went on another film shoot for 6 days. When I finished that, my money had come from Tanzania. I took another house. Nilienda tu kuchukua a few things.
Ukaacha kila kitu kwa nyumba?
Niliacha tu.
Curtains?
Kila kitu, I started afresh again.
Viti?
Yes.
Fridge?
I left everything.
Okay.
Haya. And don't be surprised because it's a trend that I had to just... Wewe ulisema uliachwa hanging. Mimi uenda.
Mimi niliachwa nikashtuka. Okay, tuingie sasa. Huyu ameenda ni wa pili. Did you give up or you tried another one?
I never gave up. I now tried another one.
But did you go for your son?
Yes. Si nilimchukua sasa tukakaa naye kwa nyumba mpya.
Mumeingia kwa nyumba mpya.
Yes.
Different estate.
Yes, different estate.
Mumenunua vitu vipya.
Yes.
Okay.
Starting afresh again. I've had to start afresh severally. And so the next one lasted at least longer. Ikakuwa almost 3 years.
Wow.
Alafu
blended family again?
Yeah, blended family. Alafu hii ya mwisho which I had to again work out. Ili last at least 5 years.
Wow. 5 years na bado mkaachana?
Yeah, but see now, it could be 5 years ya kuvumiliana and discussing the same issues, hoping that they're going to change.
Was it a blended family again?
It was a blended family. You know, I came to accept the reality that the moment you have a child, it's always easier to have a partnership where somebody comes with their child and you have got a common goal of raising the children. And then as soon as the children grow, then it's easier for you to relate and now be the two of you.
Okay.
Yes.
Hii ya miaka 5, I'm a bit interested. How do you live with someone for 5 years na it's a blended family? Definitely mtoto wake anakuita daddy, mtoto wako anamuita mami. You feel like mumefika and then gone.
It's a painful decision to make. And it's not as easy as anybody might think. But the challenges started coming in again around the control of within the house, the food and the freedoms. Kijana sasa unajua amekuwa mkubwa.
I was coming to that,
yes,
but your son now is a big person.
Yes, his friends are coming, they are doing PlayStation, but you see now they reach a point they are chased away. They are told you cannot be comfortable in this house, you need to go, it's family time. Things I did not mind. Yeah, because sasa mtu umempea nafasi wacha akue mother. But you see, in the process I would spend my time explaining that being a mother is not about creating rules.
True.
Being a mother is about guiding that child, about being compassionate towards that child, about understanding that child, about having the patience to keep on guiding the child even if he goes wrong. Mwambie kuleta wageni sio vibaya, lakini there could be your timings, you need to time it this way. Yeah? Then that mother should be loving towards the child.
Okay.
And there are many qualities of a mother. But you see, a lot of people believe that a mother, you have to breathe down your child's neck all the time. Unajua, it's unfortunate. It's very sad. They say TV influences people. Now unajua, a lot of our girls are watching Nigerian movies.
True.
They see the things that women do to their stepchildren. They see how women shout and confront and all that. Maybe it influences them differently.
Did you try kukaa chini na your son, your wife and your daughter? Ni daughter ama ni son?
My son, that's the one I was living with. My daughter is married.
No, about this last relationship.
Yes.
The blended family.
Yes.
Yule mtoto wa your wife mwenye alikuja naye ni
mdogo sana.
Ni mdogo. Ni wako ama ni alikuja naye? Okay. So did you try to sit them as a family and create the rules so that Carl na everyone else mpaka mama yao waone the rules are coming from you, not from the mother?
We tried that. You know, Joyce, we tried everything possible to make things work. But you see now, every time we tried, we would go back to the same place. Okay. Because you see now they would go back, same rules, and unaona two things are just not working. And I will not lie to you that working for government is not easy. I know. Too much treachery at the place of work, too much witch hunt. So work is a war zone. True. When you're coming home, you've got the two people you love the most. But then they're just at loggerheads all the time. So you try to broker the peace, but then you realize that every time you are away, there is war. But when you're around is when there is peace. So it becomes quite a challenge. And you know, some things you just don't force them to work. You try to make them work, and I even had to put it down in writing, and I said, this is what I want. But eventually, when you just see now, it's getting worse and worse until it got physical. Again.
Physical between your son and...
Yeah. That is when I just said, I may be the bad guy. I'm not saying I'm an angel. Yeah, because if you notice the trend. Yes. And at the end of the day, I protect my son more. Maybe I'm overprotective.
I was coming to that. Do you think you're being too protective?
I might be. I don't rule that one out. Yeah, but hata wewe saa zingine, if somebody gives you a choice between your blood and your heart.
My blood comes first.
You know, heart can be broken. Itapona huko mbele.
Ishavunjwa unaokota piece moja kawangware na hiyo ingine kangemi.
Yes, lakini kwa watoto ama blood, huwezi sikia ati yule alikuwa ni mtoto wa Victor, lakini akamuasi. Yule alikuwa baba ya Carl, lakini hawakusikizana, wakaachana. No, blood you live with it. True. Yeah, so and I always tell friends, never ever put a man in a situation, or anybody, even a woman, in a situation where they have to choose between their children and yourself. Because love may be there, but without these children, without you showing that love to these children, there's nothing. Okay. Yes.
So what are the lessons you've learned in blended families? Because you've been in 4 relationships.
I've been in 4?
Yes, the blended families.
Yes.
And maybe someone is listening to you, watching you, anashindwa. So are you telling them blended families don't work?
You know, I'm a very strong believer in love in the first place, and I'm a strong believer in marriage. In fact, I love it when I see people who are sharing their 40th anniversary, people 50th anniversary. It touches me, and that is what I was always longing for. But you see, now being in a blended family requires a bigger heart. It requires more patience. It requires more understanding.
And sacrifice.
And the most important thing is you realize that for you get to know each other. There could be a lot of love between the two of you.
True.
But there are these constants in your lives which require to be taken care of for the two of you to continue being happy. Because if those constants are not taken care of, ati unipate mimi na harass watoto wako. Si unajua focus itakuwa ni pale. You will never be fighting over the two of you.
Mwezi moja yenye huyu alimaliza.
You know, you're not fighting because of the two of you at mna disagree, but because of watoto.
Yeah.
And these children require protection. I did not kill Mama Carl.
True.
He died. And I found myself in that situation. So at the end of it all, it is my duty to also protect him. I've seen so many of my friends who have now ended up sacrificing their children. Anatoa watoto wanawapeleka kwa grandparents. Ati wakae huko ndio yeye apendane na huyu mtu. At the end of it all, mtu anapoteza connection na watoto wanahangaika kule nje. Na vile nilisema, hao watoto wakitembea huko nje wanasema unajua ni watoto wa nani? Aliwatupa na akachukua yule. There is a point, as long as we are still alive, let's offer them the platform, let's offer them the cushion and the protection.
So nikurudishe tu kwa huyu the last one wamepigana, then you guys agreed you can go your way, I go my way.
Me, I'm a typical man.
Please tell me this time ulichukua curtains.
Niliacha kila kitu.
Kila kitu.
Nilibeba tu nguo zangu 2-3 nikaondoka. A good Samaritan offered me an apartment which was furnished to just hang in there as I figure out what I want. So I went with my son and when we stayed kidogo, I sent her a text. I told her I don't think I'm going to come back. She apologized, but then I told her, look, you've apologized so many times. Over 3 times you've apologized to the boy himself and promised that you're going to be good to him. But then you still go back to the same problem. So when you keep on doing something, the same thing all the time, inafika mahali, then just call it off. Maybe akiendelea mbele atapata yule hata msumbua ama yule atakuwa na mtoto msumbufu kama mimi.
Na watoto wao wewe umekuwa ukiwa treat aje?
Imagine none of them ever complains about me mistreating their children. Do you know mpaka leo watoto wao wote uniita daddy. Hata tukipatana mimi usianga tu dad na because they've already grown. Anasema do you remember me? I'm so and so. So I've never, mimi sijawahi kuwa na roho mbaya kwa watoto. I've never been aggressive or pushy towards children. You know, I just accept them as they are because I've accepted you as your baggage.
True.
With your baggage. So, but see, if you find it difficult accepting my baggage, then it becomes a challenge. Okay. So niliwacha, nimenunua furniture mpya tena.
Niita siku 3 na mimi uniachie furniture.
No, I'm wiser right now. No, I am wiser now. No, by the way, like on a serious note, like you said earlier, there are lessons learned, and you learn to look out for the red flags in future. And by the way, these are red flags I learned from your fellow ladies because they are the ones who, when I explained to them,
I'm keenly listening.
They told me, unajua nyinyi wanaume, there's a mistake you always make. When a woman comes into your house, she will begin by changing the curtains.
Yes.
Kidogo kidogo atakwambia anataka kubadilisha hizo viti ndio zimatch na curtains.
Yes.
Kidogo kidogo ile dining tunataka kubadilisha. Hata ile kitanda niliona, and you see within a very short time you realize you own nothing in that home and it's you who's financing it still. Lakini baadaye utapata yeye ako na kila kitu. But when I left, I always remembered what my father always told me, that if you must leave a woman, don't fight, don't insult.
True.
Just respect her and leave her richly.
Mwachie kila kitu.
Leave her richly.
Mbona wangu wa kusikia hii advice?
Labda kupata hiyo. Leave her with everything she thinks she values.
God, let me just. Mbona huku hakuenda kwa conference asikie hiyo?
Hakusikia. So they say you leave her with everything she values. And eventually she'll realize he's got everything he values. But he does not have you. Yes, and that is where now
the problem comes in.
Yes.
So have you agreed that now you go start your life, I'll go start my life, and we move on? Absolutely.
That is exactly where we are today. It's now about 3 months since I just walked out. I know it is too soon to talk about it, but you know, when you make up your mind, you've made up your mind. I am here to make sure my son is happy.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to entertain a forum where we're going to discuss about my son.
Okay.
No. As much as he is all grown up and he's leaving the home very soon, I also want him to leave that home in an amicable way.
True.
Ndio hata aweze kuvisit. Lakini sasa akitoka in acrimony, niambie huyu mtoto kama atawahi kurudi kwangu.
Itakuwa bad blood.
Yes, and you see now also on the other hand, he feels that I've been able to protect him all along.
I'm sure he really loves you.
Oh, he really appreciates. Ukimwona siku hizi ananipikia kila siku. He cooks for me all the dishes that I want. Usiku kesho dadi unataka nikupikie nini breakfast? You know,
I can tell he's happy.
He's happy and he's glowing more. He's freer in the home. And he can even invite his friends over. They have their fun. To me now, I've said that is the freedom I would not want. We never say never, but this time I said, let me just take my time, bond with him, and this gave me an opportunity to also now bring in my grandchildren from my daughter.
From your daughter.
Yes, and now we are bonding better with my daughter. My grandchildren come, they spend time with me, they go to spend time with her, and they come. So I have decided, let me focus on my blood.
Okay.
Yeah, because your blood will always be with you. Yes.
Do you think you will date again, marry again, settle with a lady again in a blended family?
Hapo ndio kizungumkuti. But let me know, I don't judge women at their bad. By the way, that has never been in me. Okay. I love women so much. And even if you see me around, I am always in female company.
True, I know you.
But even
you don't even need to explain.
How you ndio wananiambiaga, lakini this time take your time, lea mtoto, and then make some demands. Kabla ukae na mtu. And I think I'll take my time to reflect on a number of things and never be quick to just engage, because I know women take relationships very seriously.
True.
And however, you know, at times, like they say, you may end up marrying somebody you could just have had a one-night stand with. So that is maybe what I've been doing all along. So inafika mahali, now you begin to learn and analyze and scrutinize. Alafu unajipanga from there.
But I'll still go back to my question. Do you want to get into a blended family like affair, or you don't mind a young girl?
No, young, I'll be honest. I'll never go for young. I would rather do a blended family and where the kids are almost grown up and going, because I need companionship. So I will not deny. My doors are open, I'm willing, but then there will have to be now a proper checklist and a proper agreement before we do anything.
Kila kitu umequalify hapo kwa checklist ndio kidogo.
No, once bitten, 10 times shy. So lazima nikuwe ngangari kiasi.
So Victor, Aki, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. Maybe ningependa tu you talk to that single father ambaye maybe they've given up, they got frustrated like you initially, you don't know what to do with the kid, ako hapo. Maybe you can give them just a word of wisdom. Talk to that single mother, talk to the youths, talk to the children in blended families.
To the single parents out there, I just want to say that being in a blended family takes a lot of wisdom and patience, and it requires a bigger heart.
True.
Yeah, to be in it, and sacrifices. And to the children, I would always say that they need to respect their parents and the decisions that they make. But see, the comfort of the children is purely dependent on the protection they feel they are being offered by their parents.
True.
And it's unfortunate that a lot of parents tend to become overprotective over their children, like I have been. But at times when you're left with no choice, you have to be, because these children, you're the only parent that they know. These are the parents you introduce them to the children. And you have to also keep on balancing things and trying to make things calm down at some point. But generally, it's a good thing. I grew up in a blended family. I grew up, polygamous home. Tulikuwa wengi, about 30.
Hey.
Yes, lakini kupigana ilikuwa tu ni kuzoeana na kuendelea na maisha, and we learn to express ourselves. Yeah, but it's good to just let people also try and be nice to each other. But always remember, beyond being nice to each other, you must be nice to the children first. Because once you're nice to the children, everything else falls into place.
True.
Yes.
Wow, thank you so much. Utakaporudi peleka salamu zetu kwa governor wa Machakos. Uende nyumbani usalimie Carl. Your daughter is Tamara, yes. And your grandchildren.
Arya
and everyone
and,
else.
Arya and King. Very nice kids.
Mwambie tunapenda na tunakutakia mema.
Asante.
I know what you're talking about when you talk about single parenthood. We've been there and we know it's not easy, but God is there. Above everything else, Mungu yuko.
Amen.
So thank you so much.
Asante.
Yeah, and God bless you.
Nashukuru sana.
Sawa, karibu.
Asante sana for the time as well.
Asante.
Okay.
Okay.